Hello chess friends, welcome to my new DVD on calculation training. I have recorded already quite a number of DVDs on this topic, but in my opinion you can never do it often enough. Calculation is a big part of our game. In every game we will have to force ourselves to calculate a bit, to try to win material, to deliver a mating attack, to prevent the opponent from executing dangerous threats and so on. So that's why I believe we should regularly train it and keep our brain fit. And that's why I've selected a huge number of exercises based on games from my own students, even games of myself, and also famous games of world's best players. But the positions are relatively unknown and new and have not been published before. So I think that is a challenge, of course. In total, I've selected 73 positions, and in most cases, these positions contain numerous questions. So it could be that I have a position and I will guide you through the exercise step by step. So in one position, maybe you can easily get 5 or 6 questions. So in general, I think the calculation techniques which I've discussed on my previous DVDs, they should be applied here as well. So for instance, a topic like selecting candidate moves, how to do that, how to prioritize your moves. That's a very important theme. I've elaborated already on my previous DVDs, but these topics, they should be applied by solving my exercises. And very important, of course, with selecting candidate moves, it's about prioritizing them. And in general, my approach, my philosophy is very simple. Look at the most forcing moves first. Look at checks, look at captures, and look at ways to create new threats. And that's what you have to do constantly, every move. Whenever you make a move, you have to think about what your opponent may do in return. And whenever your opponent makes a move, you have to understand also what is his intention, what are his threats. And once you are approaching the game of chess like that, I guess you make it much easier for yourself. Of course, there are a lot of stages in the game when there are no checks and captures possible. But here we are focusing on these tactical opportunities, how to spot them, and also what the weaknesses are. Like, in certain cases, it doesn't make sense to look for tactics and how you can sense that. Well, in my opinion, it's very important always to look at the opponent's king. Can we give a check, or are there back rank issues? That's one very important topic in this theme, and it will be seen in a lot of different positions, in fact. But apart from that, there are also other weaknesses as well, like unprotected pieces, which can be targeted, or pieces which are not sufficiently defended. But also a piece which has different defensive tasks. If it needs to defend one piece on one side and also on the other side, that piece which has to coordinate it can be easily overloaded. And that's why a piece can become vulnerable as well. So candidate moves and forcing moves, they are making a big impact on this DVD as well. And of course, when you have a number of candidate moves, you need to make a selection which move I am going to look at first. And maybe you see one move is not going to work, we eliminate that move. So the method of elimination plays also a big role by coming to the right decision. So which topics are covered specifically? Well, I've decided to name the topics a bit differently. We start with a number of positions with relatively simple tactics, so that also the weaker players, they will feel attracted to watch this DVD. And anyway, also the stronger players, they should also try to solve these simple positions with double attacks, skewers, pins, X-rays, etc. I think it's always important to be sharp and force yourself to train that. Another topic I discuss is the topic on trapped pieces. It's very important to understand when a piece is badly placed. When a piece is standing at the side of the board, it has relatively less available squares than when it's in the middle. But also when a piece is being obstructed by its own pieces or imprisoned by the opponent's pieces, it makes a lot of sense trying to find ways to target that piece. Or it could also be that a piece is just really badly placed and we shift the attention to the other side of the board. But here we merely talk about looking at tactical opportunities rather than positional themes. Then, of course, we are trying to increase the level a bit step by step. And from the 1 or 2 move tactics, we are trying to make it a little bit harder when short variations need to be calculated. So it's like check, check, and then maybe you win a piece or you can give mate, or maybe you even have to find a silent move in between, and then the line even continues. But we will do it step by step, as I said. So it's, of course, you can always challenge yourself in the interactive format by when you get the initial position, you're trying to solve it from the start. But it could also be that, okay, you think this is the move I want to play anyway. With the method of elimination, we come to the right move, and then you can just play it. Probably it's correct, and then we move on to the right variation. And but it's a couple of moves deep, yeah, right. So that's why I would like to challenge you, encourage you to try to calculate from the start and see how far you can go. And I think thanks to the interactive format, these exercises I'm offering, they are interesting both for, let's say, players rated around 1400, even a bit lower perhaps, but also very interesting for stronger players like titled players who are really want a challenge, and they can of course try to calculate from the very start. Another very important psychological theme is that whenever you play a game and you get to face an unexpected move by your opponent, that you can easily feel intimidated. And a lot of people automatically trust their opponent, especially of course when the opponent is much higher rated. But I would like to force you to be objective and don't automatically trust the opponent, because strong players, they can make big blunders or just simple mistakes as well, and they can overlook something which you may have actually seen. So I've selected a couple of these examples as well, in which you have to try to refute the opponent's idea. As I've mentioned also, spotting the weakness is a specific topic on this DVD as well, when we try to see whether the king is weak, or we can attack a specific point, for example close to the king, so that you can generate mating threats. Once you understand what the weakness is, that will definitely guide you in the right direction, where you have to look for, what the right candidate move can be. Very often I notice that students of mine, they start looking at a position, and the first thing they do is looking at moves, especially when they have one move in mind. They want to go very deep, but very often it's actually recommended not to look at one specific move, but first make a small selection of candidate moves. Once you know that, then it's better for yourself to figure out how to approach these moves and how to spend your time efficiently. And we're not only looking at attacking ideas, by the way. In a couple of positions, you're under pressure and you will have to defend. And defend doesn't automatically mean that you have to fight for a draw. It could be that you have a beautiful counterattack, because the idea of a counterattack, ignoring the opponent's threat, is a very important theme, which I discussed on my earlier DVDs, but has a very prominent role in this DVD as well. Last but not least, we get the big challenges with the section of brain teasers, in which I have selected, in my opinion, quite a number of quite insane variations, exercises which need to be worked out. And they're really hard, so definitely don't feel ashamed if you're not able to work yourself through these lines. They're really hard. You will come across positions which were not even solved properly by very strong grandmasters. And it could be that these strong grandmasters, they were playing in an online event or blitz game. But still, I believe that when you give yourself a bit of time, don't push yourself to solve the positions within a couple of seconds. Sometimes you just have to sit down. Even you can put it down on a wooden board in front of you, sit down for a couple of minutes, and then hopefully you can spot the right idea, even better than these strong grandmasters. So, as I mentioned, a lot of these games, they are taken from games from my students. I thought it's nice to include them on this DVD as well as in previous DVDs. I mainly covered games of elite players. They're also on this DVD. But the advantage of games of my students is that I have seen them, I've analyzed them, I know their thinking process, so I exactly understand what they were looking at, what typical flaws are in the calculation process of these players. And another advantage, of course, is that they have probably not been published and they are unknown to you. And that could be even more attractive than when you look at games which have been covered elsewhere on the internet. So, all in all, I believe I have come up with a big selection of new material, and I'm happy to present it for you. I hope you will enjoy it. Take your time, and as always, try to make the exercises precisely. Give yourself a fair chance to solve them correctly. And the good thing is that after a certain amount of time, you can go through these exercises again, and hopefully you have not remembered the exact answers, and you can use these exercises one more time. So a lot of exercises. I haven't counted myself, but it's 73 positions with multiple questions, sometimes 5 to 6, 7 puzzles within one position, and a lot of information is shared in the solutions as well. So thanks for ChessBase for producing this fantastic interactive format. I believe it's really made for these kind of exercises. No examples this time. I don't think it's needed. I've covered the main themes as well, but see it as a new selection of exercises where you can apply the knowledge of the typical calculation techniques of using candidate moves, forcing moves first, method of elimination, ignore the threat of your opponent, etc. And then after this introduction, we are ready to get started with a warming up. We do the 1 or 2 move exercises, simple, relatively simple tactics, and I hope you will enjoy the new selection of puzzles. Thanks for watching this, and let's have some fun together. Hopefully it will improve your calculation abilities. Good luck.